If your mind won't stop racing, don't just listen. Do this with me. In the next few minutes, you'll train your thoughts to slow down and your body to relax while you build clarity to act on what matters. So if you're ready, close your eyes now and let's start. You can begin by taking a few deep, relaxing breaths and begin to focus your attention, gradually, of course. There's no reason to hurry. As you start to grow more comfortable within yourself. You have the time now to just enjoy the experience of finding and using more of your own internal resources. The natural gifts that you have to be able to close your eyes and look inside yourself. And as always, you have an opportunity now to create an experience for yourself that's soothing and comforting and growth-oriented in ways you'll discover gradually over time. I can slow my voice down to help you slow down as well. So you can start to actively build the qualities of a state where you can listen and hear. You can actively take the time you need to build for yourself an internal atmosphere that makes it easier, much easier, to consider the possibilities of things you can start to do differently, and to explore the deeper, much deeper implications of what it means to have the self-awareness that you can easily convert into a plan of action for feeling good about yourself and what you do. You've made the choice to allow yourself this time. You've made the choice of closing your eyes. You've made the choice to listen. Good choices and good actions that can really make a difference in your life in the best of ways. And every day, each of us makes so many decisions. From small to large, like what to wear today, or what to eat for breakfast, or whether to watch this show or that show. These aren't usually serious decisions that carry a lot of consequences. But at the other end of the spectrum, there are sometimes huge decisions to be made. Decisions to take actions that can have a deep and lasting impact, such as, am I going to stay in this job, or am I going to quit? Or do I say something about this person crossing the line? Or do I just say nothing? And so, even as you sit quietly, there are choices you're actively making at this very moment, even if you don't realize it, about what to take in and what to use as a new frame of reference for meaningful action. And you can clearly hear me say that the quality of your life is a reflection of the quality of your decisions. The decisions that you take actively. The decisions that you actively make when you deliberately choose a course of action. Even if, as strange as it sounds, the action is to deliberately take no action. It's a curious thing to consider. How someone decides whether to take action or choose to take the action of no action. I remember vividly watching a talented therapist who was one of the pioneers of a therapy model called transactional analysis do a clinical demonstration with a man. And she knew that he was an action-oriented person. He described clearly how his first reflex in almost any situation was to want to do something, to take some action that was meant to help, but sometimes actually backfired. The way he grew up led him to believe in the mantra, don't just stand there, do something. And it was a real shock to me when she said quite seriously to this man the exact opposite message. Don't just do something, stand there. I really hadn't considered before that powerful moment that there are times when the decision to act means deciding not to act. But the ability to choose and the process of choosing are what I'm encouraging you to focus on now for a little while, knowing that even when you choose not to act, it's an action plan you've just created that will have consequences for you to consider. And so I'm curious, and maybe you are too, about your internal atmosphere, the environment you create inside yourself as you live your life. How you challenge yourself to grow and to outgrow what's no longer useful to you. How you notice and whether you can really appreciate defining what you do already so well, recognizing and acknowledging your strengths as a person, and how you resolve what can sometimes seem to be contradictions between certain things that you used to believe about yourself. and about others, and to what you're now coming to believe. How many of the older perspectives you hold can still be valued and reaffirmed for their merits and contributions to your life? And how some of the old can be modified and redefined. You can easily recall actions that you've taken in the past, things that you've done that turned out really well, and others where you would have hoped for a different result. Times when you took action and it was the right thing to do. Other times, an opportunity for action just drifted by. And researchers have looked at this very question about decisions and actions. And you might be interested to know that on a purely statistical basis alone, people are generally more likely to regret the actions they didn't take than the actions they did. And to actively open a future for yourself that will be satisfying to you. A future that has so few, if any, regrets. You'll need to know the steps for making a sensible decision to take action. Knowing now more clearly than ever before that making decisions is inevitable. And whatever you do or don't do is still your plan of action. And learning how to take sensible action steps helps you to build trust in your own judgment. It can feel good to know you have choices about what to focus on at any given moment, and how your choice automatically leads you to a next step, and a next step after that, on the path to some well-defined goal. But you know, and I know, that sometimes people aren't focused on a well-defined goal at all. Instead, they simply focus on how they wish things were, as if waiting for some magic to happen that will improve their lives, without them having to learn anything new or do something different. And I have a good example to share with you of what I mean. I can clearly remember working with someone not long ago who asked for my help. He told me that he wasn't happy with his life, that it just didn't turn out the way he had hoped it would. And when I asked him questions about how he ended up in this position of being dissatisfied, he said he really didn't know. He said it just sort of happened. He couldn't point to any actions he took that landed him in his current place in life. And he wasn't aware of any actions he didn't take. He was just living his life from day to day. And when I asked him what he wanted in seeking help from me, he said quite simply, all he wanted was to be happy. And he was afraid that being happy just wasn't in the cards for him. And he felt he must be defective because everyone else seemed happy. And he wasn't, which made him feel bad about himself. Now, I can easily understand someone wanting to be happy. It's what you want. It's what I want too. But I wonder what you might have said to him, how you would have responded to his wish to be happy. It was clear to me very quickly, and it may be equally clear to you as well, that his way of thinking was so general, so lacking in details, that it was difficult for him to recognize his own feelings or the decisions that he made and the actions those decisions did or didn't lead him to take. So I gave him an assignment he could do before my next appointment with him. I asked him to find at least 3 things per day that he did that he felt competent to do. Things he could do successfully. Simple things like taking a shower, or getting dressed, or going grocery shopping. And I asked him to pretend he had to teach someone else to do those simple things, who had never done them before and had no idea where to begin and how to do them. And for this assignment, he had to lay out a series of steps to follow that would guarantee the person would be able to do the task successfully. And it was his job to identify all the steps in, say, taking a shower, and bring them to me to discuss. Well, he brought me a list of only 3 steps. Get wet, lather up, rinse off. So I asked him how someone who never did it before was supposed to know how to find a shower. And did they know how to undress first? Take off their glasses? And did they have a towel to dry off afterward? And how is that person supposed to know how to turn on the water and get the temperature right? And how is that person supposed to know how to use soap or shampoo? And how long were they supposed to wash before rinsing? And with each question I asked, he came to the startling realization that his list of steps would never help anyone successfully take a shower. And then I asked him how someone would feel if they tried to follow his steps for taking a shower and failed to succeed. And he understood someone would probably feel bad, even defective. I paused, and then I asked him, what were the steps to being happy? And he got the point instantly. He realized he didn't know. And in that moment, he became wonderfully aware that he was not defective. He just didn't know the steps to follow, the sensible actions to take. And how can you take the next step when you don't know what the next step is? Someone wise once said something I think it's worth you remembering. A goal without steps is merely a wish. And learning to define the steps and actively take them is how you can move from the wish to be happy to the genuine experience of liking your life and how you're living it. And I think you'll enjoy discovering you can develop a whole new way of thinking that serves you well. A style of thinking that allows you to observe the steps that people take, that you may be able to take too, in your own way, to experience something you really want to experience. You are learning now that there are steps to take to build a good career or to have a good relationship. Things you can do that can work. And now you're learning to take action. But action in an order that can likely succeed so that one step at a time you can move forward in ways you feel great about and are happy with. And how do you grow into thinking in terms of goals instead of mere wishes? What are the steps that you can follow when you don't know what steps to follow? And when something happens and you're not sure of how to react or what to do, it's so natural to want to think about what's going on, to consider what it means, or what could be better, or what needs to be solved. It's understandable that you would want to understand and even ask why something is the way it is. But as you're discovering, there's an important distinction to be made between useful analysis and useless overthinking. How much analysis is needed before some action is needed? After all, understanding alone isn't enough. It has to invite action, doing something that can help. And so often, the action to take is a simple, straightforward one. For example, instead of wondering if someone is annoyed with you about something you said or did, you can ask. Instead of wondering what to do when you know you need to do something purposeful, you can ask for ideas and you can take actions you feel good about. And instead of analyzing your past some more, you can do something to make tomorrow better. And consider again the question I asked earlier. How much analysis is needed before some action is needed? And the more important question, how do you know when it's useful analysis and when it's useless overthinking? And here's my answer. If it doesn't lead you to take timely and effective action, it's useless overthinking. So your too busy mind can slow down and stop its spinning around of the same old stuff. And then it becomes clearer what to do. You gradually grow clearer about what steps you need to take, even if the first steps are just to find out from people you trust what the steps are you might take. And gradually, you can find yourself reflexively, automatically pushing yourself to convert worries to actions, vulnerabilities to strengths, worries to sensible actions. You can actively convert concerns to decisions and helpful solutions with a strong sense that there's something good to be gained, an outcome that's clearly worth the effort. And it eventually becomes second nature to you to be a person of decision and a person of action. And the sense of calm within you grows as you become more decisive. The quiet in your mind grows as you take effective action. A calm mind and a calm body, and a strong sense of comfort that spreads over you, that you may not be able to easily explain with words. And it's wonderful that you don't have to. You can just enjoy it. And then really integrate deeply that recognition that what you do matters at least as much as what you think or feel. And the deeper meaning of the saying, actions speak louder than words, can have a new and profound significance for you. All the while knowing that what you do defines more of who you are than what you think or feel. And doing well to feel well comes so much easier. And as we begin to bring this session to a close, it might be more obvious to you than ever that it's your experience here, your time of having been comfortably absorbed as you consider what it means to go from feeling or an idea to taking meaningful action. And even now, you get to decide how much time to continue being relaxed and focused on these ideas. Maybe even as long as another full minute, if you like. And now you can take the action of coming back to yourself at a gradual rate, or simply falling into a deep and restful sleep. But if you decide to wake up now, you can begin to move your body as you become more alert, building your momentum for becoming fully alert, fully reoriented, opening your eyes, feeling ready to do what needs to be done. Now,